Hi, I'm John Humanic. Welcome back to the channel. I'm so excited you're here. Today's topic we're going to cover is spiritual discernment and how to apply these things in your life in order for you to walk out an abundant and dominant life that Christ wants to have for you in this very day as you go forward. I want you to understand that there has been a lot of false teachers that I have seen over the last couple of years talking about discernment, spiritual discernment, and all the different things. Discernment is very clearly articulated in the Bible when you recognize that even King Solomon didn't actually ask for wisdom. He actually asked for discernment, and then God gave him wisdom. You'll start to understand that the teachers of the Bible that have construed what this beautiful gift has, as well as how it can operate through you, will prevent you. They're trying to prevent you from receiving all the things God wants for you, because discernment is one of the most powerful gifts that God can give you, because what it does is it allows you to recognize the situation for what it is, and allow you to position yourself and align yourself and fix yourself back on Jesus Christ so you can move forward. And let me explain what that means, and we'll cover this in this video. Stick around for this entire video and share this with a friend, because it is really going to rock your world. Now, spiritual discernment by definition is actually understanding and discerning demons and other things that are operating in the spiritual realm. I want to talk about that as well as discernment in a generic sense to recognize the situation for what it is and apply it biblically on how you can walk it out. So we're going to talk about both pieces, because a lot of people try to construe both or actually talk about things as they're independent, but reality is what it does is God is giving you an experience that you can recognize a situation through different means, and we'll talk about all these things so that you can move forward in victory. So what do I mean by these situations? What am I talking about? Spiritual discernment? What about discernment? Things like that. Now, picture yourself as you're walking into maybe a birthday party. When you walk into a birthday party, maybe you're carrying gifts for let's say it's a young girl that turned 10. And let's say her name is Abby. So what you're doing is you have this experience where you've went out, purchased gifts or ordered them online, you've wrapped them, and you wrote a nice message to Abby, and you're taking it. So you've driven over to the house and you're there, and people are celebrating, kids are running around, balloons may be there, you might see a cake. And when you're experiencing this, when we're experiencing it from a physical perspective, you are experiencing these things. You're actually discerning the atmosphere. You're going to discern happiness. You yourself might be happy. There might be an element of joy. There might be an element of expectation. What other gifts did they receive? What does the cake look like? What is the festivities that the parents have planned? All of those things become a part of that experience that you're then discerning. When you're operating from discernment as well as spiritual discernment, what you're doing is you're actually experiencing that same thing, but in the spirit realm. This is where a lot of people, and even myself, and I have tons of testimonies about this, misconstrued or misunderstood what God was telling you in the moment, because I've walked into rooms and felt disgust. I've walked into rooms and had really bad imagery in my mind, and I had this emotional things that continue to well up, sadness, regret. And I'm thinking to myself, what's going on? Why do I have these negative emotions? Why am I experiencing these negative thoughts? And what happened is I'm discerning the things that are happening around us, no different than you would have when we talked about Abby's birthday party. When you discern in the spiritual realm, what happens is you're experiencing those same things without necessarily seeing them. Now, although you can see them, but that's what it means. So spiritual discernment, in the sense of demons, that is being able to discern the types of demons and how they're operating within the space that you are now currently occupying. But that is a sliver of what God exposed to me, because overall discernment is about experiencing the spiritual world overlaid on top of the physical. So now what happens is you're actually experiencing multiple sets of emotions, feelings, thoughts. You could actually have physical expressions. You can have things like you feel like people are brushed up against you, but it hasn't happened. That's what it's talking about. Discernment in and of itself is this powerful gift for you can walk into a situation, whether it's a meeting, whether it's a birthday party, whether even it's at home where you're having a Bible study, you're just watching a movie. You can experience all these different layers of things. It's like layers on the cake, where the physical world is one layer, the spiritual level is another, the soulish level is another, and you start to experience emotions and heightened things, and you start to get words of knowledge and wisdom, and you're part of this experience. It's a revelatory gift, and that's what the gift of discernment is all about. It's about walking into this experience that God is giving you with all these different layers, and then what you do is, as a part of that experience, the goal is for you to turn your face towards Jesus and have him tell you what to do with the information you have. You may have some situations where that will compel you to push you into a place of rest, to get into his presence, to pray, and just pray into the things that he gave you and then leave them be. There may be no action other than that. You may have a situation where you may be stepping into a place where God may say, okay, I am taking care of these things. So he moves you into a place of basically just almost, to a sense, what I would consider like a holy complacency, a place where you're like, oh, there's contentment here because there's godliness, and this is great gain. This is key. I don't have to chase these things. I can rest in that moment and trust God to take care of it. You may have a situation where you may feel some form of resistance. Maybe you're feeling something where you're feeling something that continues to restrain you and hold you back. Why isn't something about to happen? I've been working at this thing. I've been doing what God tells me to do. I've been operating from his principles, but nothing is breaking out. And there's some kind of restrainer there. And that may be what God's saying, is he may expose a spirit. This is the spiritual side, the spiritual discernment, to be able to say, okay, there may be some sin that needs to be addressed. Maybe there's some situation where you have to pray against it. Maybe it's just like Daniel, where you have to fast for 21 days in order for things to break off. There's so many different ways these things will manifest yourself in your life. And that all, again, is all about focusing your gaze upon Jesus and asking him what to do. There may be some spiritual lessons that he may be showing you. He may be teaching you patience through this situation, because maybe this situation will continue to come up in greater measure, and he's training you step by step to receive it. Because remember, when you're operating in kingdom prosperity, you're operating from a kingdom wealth, you're operating from kingdom love and kingdom faith. The way God works is it is all about hockey sticks. It's about being in a place of peace and joy in the plain, where it's a flat land where you're walking with him hand in hand. But then there's some moment where you see this mountain and God just takes you up and over it instantly. And that's what God does. But he can't take you up and over into that new season if you haven't learned all the lessons in the previous one, in order for you to walk out in victory, because those expectations, those experiences, those scenarios would crush you in the future if you weren't ready for them. And so these become safe places that God can teach you to operate from victory to victory and grace to grace and faith to faith. It's so important to understand that God is a loving God and will not give you something that's greater than you can handle. So when you walk into these situations and you start to experience the physical side, the emotional side, the mental side, maybe the spiritual side, think of it like Abby's cake, where it's just different layers and God's exposing it to you. They're different flavors. Focus back on Jesus. Take your attention from the situation, put it back on Jesus, and have him explain the things he wants you to discern and experience in that moment, the secrets he wants you to reveal and uncover. Because remember, it's the glory of God to conceal a matter. It is the glory of kings to reveal it, and so, or to seek it out. And so when you do those things, sit in his presence, understand what he wants, and move forward in victory, so that you can understand, experience, and know all the things he has. And then you'll be able to move on to the next situation and continue to grow in Jesus Christ. If you love content like this, I would love for you to partner with us on Patreon. Go there to patreon.com/John Humenick. There you can make a single donation or become a partner, and all the proceeds go back into the ministry. We have an amazing vision that we are carrying out in this ministry today, is to carry the gospel to every single person before the rapture. That's our goal. We've been doing it in an amazing way. We're partnered with other organizations that are moving forward. We've had 70 million views in the last year, and this larger organization has had over 4 billion. So we're really excited about what God's doing in this time, and partner with us to help make this happen. God bless.